Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Practicing leadership. Right, Tara? He's awesome.
Okay.
She's like, okay, that's enough.
Okay, wait, one of my grandma's made.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. My name is Gabi Guerrero. I'm one of the prenatal coordinators here at the Pacific Islander Health Board. And welcome to our Talk Story Tuesday. So today we're going to be talking about all about mom, postpartum care, and resources. But yes, I'm joined with our lovely guests, Devi and Vanessa from Hummingbird, and Sala Afalava from New Hope Counseling. So please everyone say hello and hi. And our host today was going to be Dr. Tara Lawal. So give the floor to Tara.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Gabi. Aloha, everyone. My name is Dr. Tara Lawal. I am the perinatal specialist for the PI Health Board. And one of my roles is to help with childbirth education classes and connecting people to resources, especially during that postpartum period. And so we're really excited to have you all here as our guests today, because what we really want to do is hear what you do, what you offer, who you are, the kind of resources that you can offer our families during the postpartum period. And then we'll talk about what support really looks like. And so, Sala, do you want to go first? And then I'll turn the time over to Devi and Vanessa.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Talofa. My name is Aingali Sala Afalava. I am a licensed mental health therapist here in Washington. And so I'm a mental health therapist, and I work out of my own private practice, which I see my clients exclusively online. And that's just more so for scheduling convenience for me. I'm also a third-year doctoral student. I am completing my doctorate in clinical psychology. And so just a lot of moving parts, but the availability and the convenience of online therapy and offering telehealth and doing therapy via online is just has been really, really great. So I focus mainly on trauma and then also a lot of anxiety. One of my specialties is working with clients with OCD tendencies. I really enjoy working with that population. And then more so, I think in the last year or two, I've just been doing a whole lot of community education classes or conversations with the AA-NHPI communities. So I'm partnering with a lot of different community organizations here in Washington, like APCC, PICOWA, and then PIB as well, just to be able to if you need things like a panel or just to be able to have conversations with people around mental health, because as we know, with our AA-NHPI communities, mental health is still such a huge stigma. So some of the community conversations that I do with my colleagues is just really basic psychoeducation type of conversations, just to be able to normalize a lot of things about seeking mental health services. So so that's just a little snippet, and then we'll just share more as we continue the conversation.
Thank you. It's good to meet you, and I'll definitely hit you up after this. So I feel like we're gonna talk a lot about our I'm about to talk like 20 minutes compared to year 5. So I'm trying to organize my thoughts. I don't want to take over. So Debbie and I, we are with Hummingbird Indigenous Family Services, and Hummingbird's fairly new, but the birth keeper, the doula program, like we always say, we're the foundation of all our programs, and everything is built on how we care for birthing people, right? Like we're only the foundation of like, the world. So of course we're prioritized, right? So honestly, to put really succinctly, like we founded Hummingbird to prevent maternal mortality and morbidity. Like 0 is our goal, right? I mean, I say like to curb morbidity, but like 0 deaths. And that's a tall order, right? But on top of that, that is why my standard of care is so high that I expect a lot from my team. And Debbie's gonna kind of talk to you about what postpartum looks like, and it's their postpartum care looks like with Hummingbird, and it's different than what people might think postpartum care looks like. But yeah, so we have the Birth Keeper program, which is a doula program. We're full spectrum, which means that we care for folks throughout the entire, like full spectrum of our reproductive health. So for pregnancy loss, for abortion care support. We also have separate funding. We got separate funding to help fund terminations, abortions. So again, to be specific, as we serve Native American, Alaska Native, Pacific Islander, Native Hawaiians, right? Those are, I know there are other, like, I don't know, indigeneity identities, but those are the people we serve. So I just wanted to be clear with that. And so, yeah, so we have our program. Currently have 3 birth keepers. Hi, Taylor. Nice to see you. We currently have 3 birth keepers that serve like King County. And then I have 1 birth keeper who serves Pierce County. I'm hoping to get a second one, just looking for funding. So if you want to give us money, give me a call. Whoever's watching, I always need more funding because I just need more staff. We're always busy, right? We're always full, right?
Yeah,
Debbie?
and our families, they don't pay for this. We get paid through our grants, and so it's really nice actually for them. There's no stress about that.
Yeah,
that they get our services completely and unconditionally.
Yes, and some people, because if you knew what a doula was, conventional doula work is paid. And even though our website says, free of charge to families, like I've had people be like, oh, so how much is this? It's like, no, like it's funded. You don't have to worry about that. We just want to love on you. We just want to, show you how important you are and take care of you.
And I think that's the difference too with our program versus other agencies or other programs, is like that big auntie energy that we bring, and the cultural relevance obviously as well. But like that, because it's already paid for and there's no charge on their end, it just breaks down different barriers so that they can receive and experience that kind of care.
Unconditional care.
Yeah.
And generally people can enroll as early as they find out they're pregnant, right? We've had grandmas and aunties like call us and be like, okay, so my niece or my grandchild is pregnant. What do I need to do? So, and they just found out. And we have folks who just found out about us and they've already had their babies and they know that they need more help, lactation support or just postpartum support in general. So that's how that works. So that's our program. We also have Pili Makua, which is our home visiting family connections program. We have an awesome program manager for that. Her name's Caitlin Kamale, and she's Native Hawaiian and incredible. She basically created it. And so we're just so happy to have her. So not only is there like a home visiting aspect, but also like a family connection. So it's also, there's a lot of events that you might see on social media to connect not just with us, but to connect with the community in general, because you might know, well, everybody on this panel knows it's postpartum can be very isolating, this postpartum time. And then we have a guaranteed income program, what we call the Nest. And it's up to 150 people are enrolled in our program, randomly selected. We are about to select our final cohort. And after this month, we'll have 150 people, and they receive no strings attached monthly payment of $1,250 until their kiddo is 3. And this is, an incredible experience. It's privately funded. And we sought this program because we know it will improve outcomes, right? Like if you give people money for basic needs, guess what? Like we're healthier, our babies are healthier. And there's even research that shows it goes on until, their teenage years, until their college year. You know what I mean? It's not just happening for the moment or these first few years. And I wish we could say, oh, give me a call and I'll connect you to our program staff. But we have our final selection and we'll have 150 people, enrolled. So yeah, I'm the program manager. This is Devi. I'm so happy. I was just so happy when we were able to hire her. I've been wanting to hire her for a long, long time. And I hope to hire another Native Hawaiian or Pacifica birth keeper. I just need more funding. So again, if there are any folks out there who want to donate, give me a call.
And also we have a storytelling program as well, and a resident artist. So just a lot of culturally immersed programs to support families and reclaim their culture as well as experience.
Yeah, Pili Makua has a big aspect of like culture reclamation and language reclamation. And that team does so much research. So, I mean, we can't be culturally matched, like perfectly culturally matched. So they do a lot of research. They look up various websites, like how do you say this in Blackfeet? How do you say this in Marshallese? So it's just like, how do we teach our babies and next generation our native language so it doesn't get lost? Because our elders sometimes don't have that knowledge to give us. And so we kind of want to help that connection.
It's a pretty special program.
We think so.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we have Sala, who offers mental health special therapy individually to folks. And then we have the Hummingbird Indigenous Family Services that offer Indigenous or individual help to you when you're pregnant and following you as long as you need the support. They also have services that are culturally relevant and in group care too, right? So you have group programs that you're doing, you have storytelling. And now we have Taylor here from Global Perinatal Services. I always love seeing you, Taylor. Would you be able to introduce yourself? What do you do? And what are some of the services that Global Perinatal Services offers to postpartum families?
Yeah, well, good evening. Thank you all for having me. I'm Taylor. I'm a doula with Global Perinatal Services. I wear many hats there, perinatal case manager and lactation specialist and all the things because I enjoy everything surrounding birth and just really love our organization and always want to fill any hats, anything that I can. So we have so many different services. Some of them are similar to Hummingbird as well, just doula care. We also do community-based doula, so we followed the family for a year. We just started postpartum support because we saw there was such a need. So we offer that to families as well. They can have a birth doula and then realize, wait a minute, I need more support. And so we'll sign them up afterwards. And if they need more than 20 hours, they can break it up any kind of way that they want. Then we'll extend it, of course. And then we just recently opened up Easy Access Clinic, which is Jenny Joseph. If you all are familiar, she created this wonderful clinic, and it just receives wraparound services for anyone. When we try to serve anyone we can, they can walk in. We want to make it accessible and easy. They don't have to have insurance or be documented, and we'll see them. They meet with midwives. So they don't have to be pregnant necessarily if they just want a yearly checkup. And then they'll speak with like lactation specialists, childbirth education if it's needed. They'll meet with a nurse practitioner, of course, the midwife, and then we'll meet with them at the end and see if they need any other resources like WIC or food stamps or housing or anything like that. And if they need insurance, we'll try to get them enrolled as well. And we do that in both Burien at our location and in Federal Way at the New Birth Center. And it's been really wonderful. We see the need. Everyone's telling their friends and just trying to collaborate with other providers as well to let them know that if their client wants to just hear their baby's heartbeat, they can totally pop in. They don't have to necessarily have our midwife be their main provider. If they just want to come in to meet with us, they can. And we just want to hold space for everyone in the community. We have so many different doulas from so many different walks of life that speak so many different languages. And we just try to meet all our clients where they're at. We also saw a big mental health need for both clients and staff. And just, want to honor our doulas. And, this is very hard work sometimes. It could be challenging, some of the folks that we see. And just having someone to speak to and doing it as a staff as well as individually, and then offering it to our clients as well if they're experiencing any sort of trauma or issues. We do trainings once a year taught by a midwife. So if a lot of the clients that we serve end up wanting to become doulas, which is really wonderful. So we'll train them and we can certify them as well. We have a certification program similar to DONA, but super, super easy and accessible and free for BIPOC folks, which is really helpful. Ongoing just education throughout the year. We'll do different trainings for doulas so they can just continue to be educated in all things doula, how we can support community and just uplifting one another. We're also doing planning an event for postpartum moms, kind of wanting just to pamper the moms and, really honor them and, all that they do. So we're hoping to have that soon. And just everything. We do so many things and we just keep trying to grow. But similar to what Vanessa said, funding. Always wanting to serve everyone, know that there's a need, and just, finding the funding so we can continue to train doulas, we continue to support community. So.
Thank you. It's a lot. And here's the thing. Most people don't know that you have all these services available to them. Like even Sala, she's like, shake your head. So I don't even, I work with all of you daily. So I hear about it, and then I hear this new thing that you're starting, and now there's a new thing starting, and it's hard to keep up with it. So I think the big question everybody's going to have is, how do we sign up? So can we just go around again and just, Sala, can you give us a shout out of like what kind of insurance do you take? How do we refer people to you? Who are you open to? Are you the only therapist? What is your caseload? And then I'll move to Hummingbird and then to GPS.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I was just over here hearing everyone, and I don't know if you guys could see me, but I was like, wow,
Yeah.
wow, because there really are services that like I, was not aware of that I could be providing and, sending referrals to for my clients that come through for mental health services. So I was just blown away by like just how comprehensive like all of the different organizations, like for Taylor and then for Devi and Vanessa, like all the services that you're offering. I'm like, send me your website so I can like save it right now. So just amazing. But for me, so because I am private practice, it is just a one-man show, one-person show for me, so right now I am considered a out-of-network provider. So that tends to be a barrier for a lot of our communities that are wanting to utilize insurance. So what I did was being able to partner with community organizations, community nonprofit organizations, because then they have access to grants and different fundings, and to where they can then send referrals to me for people in our communities that are wanting to utilize mental health services. So currently I'm partnering with APCC, Asia Pacific Cultural Center, in which they offer or they sponsor 5 individual therapy sessions. So that's free of charge to anyone in the community. But then I think their thing is you have to be able to reside in Pierce County. That's, that's a different funding that they're kind of pulling out of. And then trying to partner with King County Department of Health to see about securing funding as well for individuals in our community to be able to access mental health services. So those are sort of in the works. But as far as like, if you are wanting to get into therapy and you want to come through me, I do have my website I can put in the chat. And then you can book your initial 30-minute consultation on the website, on my website, and you'll be able to see me. I provide what's called a super bill, which is like a receipt for your insurance company. So then you would be able to take that paperwork and that documentation and you submit it to your insurance company, whatever that is, for possible reimbursement. But I walk clients through that entire process to be able to like make sure that before you even come this way, that you're connecting with your insurance and seeing if they are even able to reimburse you. And then if not, then I'm trying to connect with other community partners to see if they can sponsor the sessions for our community members that are wanting to get therapy. I also have sort of like, and all therapists have this, what's called a sliding scale, which is offering therapy sessions at a much more reduced rate for clients. But the thing is, we can only take on a certain amount. And then once that is filled up, we can't take any more. So it's on a first come, first serve basis. But there are also, I would say, don't let that be a barrier to just come meet me and, ask your questions. Because more likely I will know of a resource that I can provide our community members and be like, well, hey, if you sign up for this, you can pay like $60 for individual therapy sessions. So there's like different ways that I can help kind of connect them with. So just depending on what their need is, and maybe they just need a couple of sessions, maybe they need a much more longer. So then it's just a matter of like me trying to work with the community partners to see about sponsoring sessions for people in the community. I am like one of probably 3 or 4 Psalm 1 mental health therapists in the entire state of Washington. And I work very closely with another one. So there's like 2 of us that we're just doing the community classes. So that's another way that we're able to sort of like maybe engage a bigger audience of our community is if coming to individual therapy is a barrier because maybe finances or whatever the case, then come to the community sessions that we offer, which is we're talking about so many different topics about mental health. It could be, what is depression and anxiety, and do I have it, and how do I kind of note what those things are? And you're hearing directly from licensed mental health therapists in the community. We have classes on what is therapy, where we are walking through with you, like we're empowering you to be able to, like, this is, because it's information that like our community don't know. I don't even know how to find a therapist. Where do I even start? And that can be very overwhelming for someone that's wanting to get services already. So we go through all of these different community conversations, what we call them, where we partner with organizations. King County, we're starting to partner with some of the local community college, like Shoreline and Green River and Pierce, to where they are sponsoring those community conversations, and it's free to the community. So it's just a matter of like anyone just clicking on that link, and then they're on the live, or they usually, these different organizations, they stream it live on their Facebook. And so it's just a matter of you kind of tapping in on whatever topic you want to listen in on or be a part of the conversation, and just ask your questions. Yeah. So that is another way that we feel like we, instead of like, if people aren't ready to come to therapy individually, if finances is a barrier, then come to these community conversations, because we are just talking about different topics about mental health. And it's a lot of just different psycho ed things, but like, this is an opportunity where you're getting the information you otherwise would not get unless you're sitting across from a therapist in therapy. And we are just, we're saying like, just engage with us, ask your questions, share your stories, and see how we can sort of provide feedback in that way.
Thank you so much. It's, we have to just slowly break down the stigma of seeing therapists and realizing like, it really does get us out of our heads to be able to just let go and see that there's help in front of us. And I think coming together is another way. I'm just like, I'm kind of excited that we're all in the same room together talking about this and how we can all work together, because I believe that abundance breeds abundance. The more that we work together and we all have different resources or different niches that we can use to support one another. Sala, can you leave your information in the chat? Gabi is going to post it on Facebook so that people can figure out what way is the best way to contact you. Okay. Vanessa and Devi, do you want to talk about like, what does enrollment look like? How do I get the $1,200 a month for the nest? Like, what is that? Like, how do we get doulas?
So the nest program, we're at capacity. So we've already, we have one. Yeah, we have one more selection that's going to happen in a couple of weeks. Yeah, I know. I think it's important to tell the story though, to know that we need more of these programs, and I want to share that, like, why guaranteed income, no strings attached, is important as a concept, because we believe that you're the perfect parent for your baby, and that we deserve our basic needs to be met so we can flourish in abundance, right? Like, we don't need to gatekeep. You don't need to have a job to get this. You don't need to be going to school, and a lot of those conditional things is like, that's what we face every day, right? And so they don't need to come to us with that baggage. Okay, back to birth keepers. So Devi, did you just send a link?
Yeah, I'm gonna send. Hold on.
Okay, so Devi's about to put our website link. On there, you can scroll through the programs page. So each program has its own page that goes into detail of what we offer. And specifically for the birth keeper program, if you scroll down, read about what we do, all the way down, it's like, seek support. I remember what it says, like request. What does it say? Go to no. Go to our programs up here.
So if you click to Hummingbird Indigenous Families .org, ifs.org, on the right side, there'll be a column and you can just click at different programs that we offer. And at the Birth Keeper, it's a doula, schedule a call with us.
Yes. And then down at the bottom, there's like a little blue button and it says request support.
Yeah.
So when someone fills that out, you can fill that out as a provider, right? So Sala, Tara, well, you know that, you just call us. But if you were another provider who didn't have our number, right, you would fill out, you would have your info as a provider, and then you would put in, you know, your patient or your client's info on there. And what I like to do when particularly clinical providers or community partners refer to us, what's important is to close the loop, right? Like, and we do the same thing. Like, you could give somebody a number, but are they going to call it? I don't know. Right. So, you know, when we do that with my program, like, you know, we help them fill out that referral form. You know, we'll be there at the visit to be like, do you want to call? Do you want to call that number? We could do it right now, you know, like, and be with them, because those phone calls are daunting, right? You might have a language barrier. You just might not trust.
It's pretty simple too. Like, it's just really easy. It's just, you give us your information and Vanessa will reach out to you and then
schedule a call.
Yeah. And that's how easy it is.
And so filling out that interest form. So let's say you know someone who might be interested, you know, send them that link. And you can refer to yourself. You can refer yourself as, you know, you're going to refer yourself. So it doesn't have to be a provider. And you could just click, I'm a provider, or I'm seeking services. And what's nice about that is you can tell us a little bit about yourself. If you're looking for prenatal care, birth support, postpartum support, lactation support. I forgot to say that we're all peer counselors, Indigenous peer counselors, lactation peer counselors. So, and Devi is actually really incredible, like Indigenous
I'm
lactation.
very passionate about
She's
mama's milk. Yeah.
They love, I mean, they give her gifts. Look at, somebody knitted her this. Like,
yeah, that's because Mahina means moon. Isn't that so sweet?
Like,
my daughter. Yeah.
That's his
Anyways.
You know, somebody's mom made this for, like, we have this exchange of like love that we get anyway.
So that's how you get a hold of us. You just fill in your info on our website and we will follow through. Vanessa will definitely get back to you, or we can help you as well.
Yeah, honestly, it's hard because we're always at capacity, and I have to go to my team and I'd be like, okay, who is willing to do another one? I like to limit folks to have 2 births a month. I think it was like March, April, May. Like, everybody was getting busy this summer because there were like so many babies at that time. Like, I had to take a family, you know, everybody had like 3 births. It was bananas. But I keep it to 2 births a month because postpartum care, they're 4-hour visits, right? Yeah. As opposed to prenatal care, they're like an hour and a half. Well, Debbie does like 2-hour prenatal.
And yes, it's true. I do sometimes 3, but I'm getting better at that. And the other part too is like, if there's like a special need at all, like we always make it work. Does that make sense? So like, if don't have that be a hesitation if you're worried about like our max capacity, because we're always.
We'll figure it out.
And we kind of make it work.
Yeah, we figure it out. And the nice thing about the program too is some people are hesitant to like find out more because they feel like, oh, but I'm committing to this. Like, there's no, you know, it's not mandatory. You can say, actually, you know, I want this instead of this, or you know what, this is great, but I'm good. You know, like, there's our program is no strings attached, and it's tailored to what families need. So, and then I forgot to say, we serve folks up until about 3 months postpartum, but oftentimes they stay with us a little bit longer, like this one.
And then we can also we help. It's not like we're just leaving them.
Yeah,
we can transition to like Pili Makua or other organizations that might be able to give them support if that's what they need. Yeah.
So thank you. Okay. Taylor, what about you? How do we sign up for GPS services? Also, can you explain, Taylor, like who are the folks that you're serving? With Hummingbird, it's Indigenous and Pacific Islander families specifically. And then who does GPS serve?
Yeah, so we primarily serve immigrant, refugee, BIPOC families, low-income families. We always try to find a way to serve you. We don't ever want to turn anyone away. So usually if you have any sort of state assistance, WIC, EBT, you qualify automatically for free services. If you don't, and you like maybe have private insurance, but you're a first-time Black mom, we serve you. We have a Black Bundle of Joy program that just has wraparound classes for mom, baby, dad, lactation and childbirth education, and then you get extras as well. So yeah, that's and then signing up for our services on our website. It's like one of the first links that you see, a client referral, and anybody can refer. It could be a provider, it could be your friend, it could be you yourself, and be like, I want a doula, sign up. The more information you put in the box, on the bottom that says like, I want somebody that speaks Spanish, I want somebody that's African American, I want somebody that's Muslim or whatever. We want to make sure that we fulfill that as best we can. Each of our doulas, we have over 20 different doulas from different countries, speak those different languages. We try to pair them with that specific culture if that's what the client wants. And if the client's like, I don't want that, I'd rather have someone else, then we try to fit their need. As far as our doula's caseload, each doula has 2 to 3 births a month. And that could be a birth or a postpartum support. The community-based doulas, as I said earlier, follow them through the first year. So they do a couple of months just home visiting, checking in with the families as needed. And if this client's like, I'm done, I'm good now, then we'll just exit them from the program. And they end up usually coming back if they have another baby or things like that. So that's always joyful to have returning clients. We just try to get the word out for providers. We work with some of like Health Point and multi-care and neighborhood care health and stuff. And those providers will refer their clients usually to our services. And so that's been how a lot of the communities that we highest serve, which is East African, Somali, Afghanistan, Spanish being our highest communities that we serve. But like I said, we don't ever want to turn anyone away, and we always try to find a loophole to get it. And also just like moms groups and, sisters groups and different things that they can participate in, even if they're not pregnant, that we still want to keep the space open for community and just connection and on all levels. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. I think what I've been seeing with the folks that we serve and the ones that we are teaching in our class is that it's really intimidating to pick up a phone and ask for help. And then also not knowing what the services are and what is available. And so I want everyone to know, this is a very safe group of people to talk to because we understand how vulnerable it is when you're pregnant. So we're going to wrap it up a little bit. And I would love to ask each of you to tell me how do you support someone in that early postpartum period? Like that first week, what is something that you feel you love doing the work in that first week of postpartum? And we'll just do the same order. Sala, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I think when I'm thinking about supporting someone immediately after that postpartum period, usually when I get people sitting across from me, that postpartum period kind of look like postpartum depression or even postpartum, mood disorder. And so for them to even make it across, to sit across from a therapist is huge in and of itself, because all of those things, the mood disorders, these are all different, psychological conditions that is very common for mamas after childbirth. And so it could be depression, anxiety, and sometimes even psychosis. And the onset of some of these things can sort of like start within, for some it could be like immediately after, for some it could come up like within weeks of giving birth, or for some, and then it can come up depending on the onset, either like within that week or 2 weeks later, and then it can continue to manifest like up to maybe a year for some. So it just depends. So when I get to, see a mom that's sitting across from me, they're usually in there for, like I said, depression, the different mood disorders. And so how I immediately support them in that moment is I do a lot of psycho ed about their condition. I let them know, because it is a still, like, I think, like in my experience of like when I've had PI women sit across from me and they are experiencing depression or whatever it is that they're going through after having baby, there's still also that stigma piece that's there, very strongly, very much so, because it's like, there's that strong woman, then there's that like strong Samoan woman, and so this, sometimes I'd even have to just give space just to even process that stigma first before we even kind of tap into, and then like slowly be able to like, process some of those depressive thoughts, some of those things that how they're even thinking about things. And I think most of the time I find that a lot of that really does connect back to how they see themselves. And it could be how even like their perception or expectation of how they should mother, so it just looks so much more different. But just to go back to your question for the sake of time, I do support them through that initial, of course, like talking therapy, psychotherapy, where we're just processing a lot of different like emotional issues. But at the same time, I'm also working with this mom to be able to like develop coping, skills, or if they don't have any, or even just like things that would work for them. And every mom is different. Not every mom wants to sit there and do deep breathings. Okay. Like not every mom wants to like sit there and be like, okay, you want me to like follow a leaf down the river? What? This is not working for me, So like not every mom wants to do that. So it's more of like being able to connect with the moms and see what's working for them. Like if this has happened before, what has worked for you before, and how can we bring that back and then continue to build from there? For some mom, it could be they need that medication support. Some moms are not open to the medication support, and that's okay. So it really is depending on what the mom needs at that time, and then the support, and then that sort of determines the type of support that I can offer them. Support groups are always a good place where I love to refer moms to, and be able to like, because it's one thing to like be able to be in a space where that like there's other people going through it, and like nobody understands it, like these ladies that are around me, and they get it. So I always recommend support groups for those moms. And then of course, like, what does self-care look like? Because at the end of the day, in that postpartum period, it's from my experience, there's so much that's happening, like changes in mom's body. There's that self-image look. So self-care and having to really help this mom, like, okay, let's just look at yourself and how can we take care of self? It's like, but I just went through all of this. I don't feel like it, so it's having to like, how do we go back to finding who you are? Because sometimes it's almost like working through some of those identity pieces as well, almost like that baby phantom as well, where it's like, I kind of miss having a baby, like really close to my heart, like, but now it's different. So it's like different transition periods. So I'm like ranting because there's so much. There is so much that goes into it. But as far as immediate care for mamas, it just depends on, on who's sitting across the table from me. I always tend to just make sure that I am sensitive in my way of providing and being considerate in what that mom needs. Because then this mom and how she maybe wants that postpartum care is going to be absolutely different from maybe what another mom that just had baby is going to want and need as well. So it's just being able to attune to different mamas when they sit across the table from me.
Thank you. You brought up something that just made me reminded me of what we did a couple years ago. The Pacific Islander Health Board did the first research of PI women and why they won't go to prenatal care. We wanted to know. And so we did a full research project on it. And the one thing that stood out and just like hit me deep was when a couple moms said, when I was in postpartum, I didn't know I would feel so alone. I was surrounded by my aunties, my cousins. I had everybody, here for the baby, but they were here for the baby. They would take baby, go feed them, and then I'm all alone. And she goes, I never felt so alone when I'm surrounded by everybody around me. And then I'm like, oh, I remember that feeling. And nobody identifies what that feeling is and says it out loud. Like it passes, but we just don't know how to get past it or through this, right? So Sala, thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful to get to know you and to meet you today. Your information is going to be on the website. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I know you have another class to get to. So thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
So Devi and Vanessa, what is special about that first week on your end as you serve them, as you serve families?
I'm going to let Debbie take this because this is where she shines. And
it's just such a tender moment because we usually just, often I'll be at their birth. And so we're still riding on that sacredness, but yet there's that, it's just continuing that wave.
Calm down.
It's almost like that never ending contraction like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the first week, milk, there's a lot happening. So usually we come and visit day 3 or 4, sometimes a little bit sooner, just to help kind of process the birth or help mom transition from hospital to home and all of those extreme highs. And then just being ready for those lows as well, because there's a lot. So there's the physical, depending on what type of birth they had and that healing. And often in our community, we are just born and bred of just this strong stock and that need to continue to do stuff. And so usually I'm just making sure the healing process physically is safe and going okay. And that there's a little bit of relaxation and self-care so that on day 4, they're not overdoing it. And so there's a lot of talk about the physical stuff and their placenta and the wound there. So there's that. And then there's also a lot of lactation support. Often our mamas or our relatives or our people just are choosing to nurse and give them their milk. It's just so wonderful. And so there's a lot of support in that. And a lot of the I don't want to say struggles, but a lot of the things that come up that are a little bit tricky that they didn't think of, or that, they weren't planning on having happen. So there's so that's kind of the body stuff. And then also the changes. So what happens is on the first week too, there's a lot of, so there's the physical and then there's also the spiritual, and processing that sacred ceremony that we were just in, feeling fully supported and then having that kind of feel like it's gone a little bit. Cause you did all this prep for this labor. We've met every week, and to prepare for, and it's or the wedding kind of now the wedding's done. Now what about the marriage? And so there's this spiritual aspect of that, checking in with themselves, and a lot of holding space. Also, almost always around day 5, 4 or 5, there's a lot of tears, because there's rough nights in those first few nights. There's like the cluster feeding, there's the attachment and bonding. So we definitely want to hit on things like physical, spiritual, mental, and also diet. And like the self-care piece is really like really important about like, but just like having snacks and having,
We're all about the snacks.
yes, having snack stations, and lots of water still, and still taking your vitamins still. And also what other piece that comes up a lot is often is like the relationship with their mothers. And then,
Or aunties.
yes, or aunties, or like other family, like, or even, and just kind of the becoming a mother, and also as well as wearing all those different other beautiful hats that they wear, like as a wife or other siblings. And so it's blending. And so the first week is probably the most tender and vital part of our postpartum care. And because then we can start to like create a rhythm, somewhat of a rhythm. But the first week is just a lot of that settling in and just trying to keep it sacred and still joyful, and still trying to maintain that love that they have so that they can just focus on loving their baby, and not like having to think like they like my mom better, or like my partner's so tired, but so am I, and
or I have to do the dishes, or I have to vacuum.
So
and
silly.
It's like, you have a placental wound in your body that's like this big. You should be walking to the bathroom or to the kitchen and holding your baby, and that is the activity.
A lot of skin to skin.
That is the activity we want to see. You don't need to be vacuuming. You don't need to be reaching for stuff in the cupboard.
Oh yeah, the reaching is so. And then so that's the other thing too. So my first visits are always really fun because we're talking. We definitely process their labor and birth, but also there's always food. Like it's just really lovely. It's just such a tender and like special time, I think, and I just love it.
So I'll say one more thing is that like we look at the way we feed our babies, human milk, breastfeeding, chest feeding, like that's a cultural practice. And for a lot of our communities, that cultural practice was stolen from us. Right. And so this is knowledge that we want to give everyone, like if I met a neighbor, like even if they weren't Native or Pacific, I'd be like, what's going on? Are your nipples, dry? Like I would just be all up in there, because not only are we medicine for our babies, like our milk medicine for our babies, like our babies are medicine for us. Nursing our babies is medicine for us, right? There's this dyad that's a reciprocal thing. And I don't think people, were taught that, at least not out there. And so we want to share that.
Yeah. I mean, and overall too, like I think in every visit, it's like holding space, it's meeting them where they're like just checking in on where we're at. And then from there, we can create whatever is necessary for them. Like whether that be like doing laundry or helping with other kiddos, or I don't know, like it's really dependent on that person, obviously, but we're always touching on those things like physical, mental, spiritual, and then diet as well, like food as well.
Yeah. When we say diet, not like, restricting food. We just want to make sure people are eating enough protein, getting enough, all of the things we're supposed to do, especially when we're healing from birth.
Yeah. And that's more too of like, for me, it's just more of a self-care thing. Cause then it's like, just like boba. I don't really consider boba a diet food, but
it's a treat, right?
Yeah. Like we're self-care. So it's definitely woven in.
Yeah. If you're craving that, we are happy to bring you that,
That's my love language.
Thank you so much. Taylor, I'm going to ask you a little bit about the full year in postpartum, because you all follow way longer than we do. What does that look like, continuing to care for families? What kind of support are they needing in that first year?
Yeah, so a lot of it's like checking in on not just the youngest baby, but also the older children. A lot of times there's need like we need some groceries or we need diapers, and so we'll provide diapers for the littlest baby, but also the older siblings as well. And yeah, just regularly texting them and calling them and visiting them, and if they telling them about other services that we can help them with, like lactation. If they're struggling with that, we have a IBCLC that'll come and do a home visiting and kind of assess the latch and the difficulties that they might be having, and things like that. So they we do ASQ screenings as well to see if like how the children are developing, and various different things like that. And this could be optional as families grow and as the months go on. How little or how much they need us is up to them. And yeah, just like postpartum, really honoring the mom in whatever way that she needs, whether she wants to take a nap and we take over with the baby, or she's taking a nap with the baby and we're doing the dishes or making a meal for her or bringing a meal to her. Lots of like massage and holding space and just really honoring her. A lot of sometimes families, as much as they are sweet and lovely, lots of times they are in the way sometimes, or they're trying to control the narrative. And I'm just like, leave this mom alone, let her do her thing with her baby, and not let it be stressful, and not worry about cleaning of the house. So that's things that we can help her with. And she gets to break up the postpartum in whatever way that she wants. If she wants us overnight, we'll stay overnight. If she wants us just a few hours a day, we'll do that. And yeah, kind of meet them where they're at and cater to their needs, ongoing, and letting them know about all our array of services, and that like they might not like this support, but they might like this. We also open a lactation support hotline, so they can call just like they would a nurse hotline any time of day or night, and they'll receive support in various different languages as needed, and just really meeting them where they're at, even offering like maybe they don't want to come to our office for our classes, so we'll hold them on Zoom, or really kind of catering to each individual client, because they're all very different in what they're wanting. We train a lot of our doulas to know about postpartum depression and psychosis and things like that, so that they're aware if they suspect any of those things, how we can support those families, and having providers that we trust with the referral process, and really kind of walking them through that and holding their hand through it. And less of like, oh, just call this number, because not a lot of clients want to do that. I don't want to do it. I want not to say that we want to roll out the red carpet, but kind of we want to walk them through it, and make sure that they know that they're cared for even after us, and that they have all these other services, and that we work with communities, different community organizations that we trust. And that's always really lovely, because I feel like even though we all do so many similar things, that there's so many people that need us, and that we all can uplift each other's organizations and really highlight like go to this person for this, and kind of come together so that we can utilize each other. So yeah, I just make sure they know about anything, all the things, all the time, because yeah, I just want to make sure like they're all taken care of well, and that our doulas are also like they do their 24-hour recovery after the birth, but also like checking in with them right after that, doing a home visit right after that. Like and seeing what needs they have, what can we bring for them, what can we do for them. So yeah.
This was so fun. Thank you so much to all of you. I've known Taylor for a long time, and I'm so grateful to see where you've grown and how you've grown in GPS and supported hundreds of families over the years. I met Vanessa at a birth. Hard birth too. I think it was just, and I just showed up as a birth assistant and I just watched it. I'm like, who is this person? And this instant connection of how much you love people. And when I saw you be a doula to this family, I knew, I was like, there's something special here. And Devi was the first birth I ever went to. It was the birth of her daughter. And it was that moment in her strength that I knew I needed to do this work. When I saw her go to that place in the stars and bring her baby into the world, who I love so much. And to know that, we all have some sort of connection to each other, and it all happened in a birth scene, in a beautiful birth scene. And to have this circle today, I'm so grateful, because I never knew, y'all, we did this 15 years ago. We've been doing this for over a decade together here in Seattle, trying to make a difference. And we all work hard. I know the many hours that you put into this work. I know how you cry for your folks that you are serving. You cry with your coworkers. You fight with your coworkers. We get it out in community. We have to figure this out. This is the hardest work we've ever done. And it's the most needed work that could ever be done. And I love that we're all thriving and that our organizations are serving thousands of people together. And that just blows my mind, that it all starts with just one little story. It starts with your own story of what happened to you and how you can help somebody else. And it's so true. So many of our clients that we work with turn around and say, how do I do this work? I want to be a part of this. I want to share what you gave me. I need to give it to somebody else. And that's why we're all here. Somebody touched us in this work and saw it in me. And then we get the birth bug. And it's so beautiful. I am so grateful to each one of you. Each one of you have done something to help me along my path and my journey in the birth world. And for all those funders out there watching this, we all need money. And I will just keep saying it. Thank you, Vanessa. You have to ask. And I think if we all got the millions that we need for each of our organizations, we truly will see better outcomes. And when you said, I want to see 0 maternal deaths, just keep giving us the money. Put it where it goes. We will help you get those outcomes. We truly care about this work. We care about all of you out here who are listening and wondering, what do I do next? Who do I turn to? Right here. We are all ready for you. All of us have open arms. We all have red carpets that we want to share with you. We all want to roll out that red carpet. We believe becoming a parent is the most goddess thing you could ever do with your body and with your soul. And we are here to help you through that journey. I've been uplifted by all of you. Thank you so much for sharing your testimonies, your stories, and your heart with us today. Gosh, I love you guys so much. Thank you for all the work you do and for being such good friends to each other and to one another. So I'd like to say goodbye to everybody. We love you so much. Aloha, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.